Sophia always said one thing. I would rather cry in a mansion than smile in a one-room apartment. Months later, she married a powerful senator. The wedding was grand. The money never stopped flowing. But there was one secret Sophia didn't know. She was not the senator's first wife. She was the fourth. And the first three all died within months of the marriage.
Hey besties, it's your girl again, Chinwa. And tonight's African Tale will make you think twice about the life you chase.
Sophia was a beautiful and confident young woman who took great pride in her appearance. Her glowing skin, neat hair, and well-maintained body always made people notice her. She paid attention to every detail, from her lashes and brows to the perfume she wore and the silk pajamas she slept in. To Sophia, looking good was not a hobby but a lifestyle. Although she was educated and a graduate, Sophia had no interest in working a regular 9-to-5 job. She believed life should be peaceful and comfortable. In her view, a man should provide, while a woman like her should relax, glow, and enjoy life. Sophia carefully avoided stress. Her mornings were slow and calm, filled with lemon water, skincare routines, light workouts, and relaxing baths. She spent time learning beauty trends and investing in creams, perfumes, spa treatments, and classy outfits. People talked about her. Some admired her confidence, while others called her lazy. But Sophia ignored them and continued living the soft life she believed she deserved. A few days later, Sophia went out for dinner with her two closest friends, Rita and Tolu. They were seated in a quiet, classy restaurant filled with soft lights and slow music. Sophia loved places like that because, in her mind, that was where rich men usually appeared. Sophia sat comfortably in the middle of the table, glowing with confidence. Her silk dress hugged her body. She leaned back and said with a smile, "Let me tell you something. I will never suffer in this life." Rita raised an eyebrow. "Nobody said you should suffer." But Sophia continued confidently, "I'm not dating small boys. No broke energy and no let's build together. I want finished products, older men with real money and fat pockets." Tolu almost choked on her drink. Sophia shrugged. "Handsome doesn't pay bills, cute doesn't fund vacations. I want comfort, big houses, soft seats, international trips. I didn't maintain this body just to struggle." Rita leaned forward and warned her. "And what if that same rich man starts treating you badly because he knows you depend on him?" For a moment, Sophia's smile faded, but she quickly recovered. "Please, I will never let any man disrespect me." Rita looked at her carefully and said, "Okay, I hear you." Sophia then made her point clear. "I'm not looking for love, I'm looking for lifestyle." Tolu asked softly, "And what if that lifestyle comes with conditions?" Sophia laughed lightly and replied, "Everything in life has conditions. At least this one comes with luxury." Rita shook her head slowly. Sophia lifted her glass and said confidently, "I would rather cry in a mansion than smile in a one-room apartment." One morning, the sun was already high. Cars had left the street and neighbors had gone to work. The whole world was busy, but Sophia was still asleep. Her room smelled of vanilla and fresh linen. The curtains were half closed and her phone lay quietly beside her on the bed. She turned slightly, hugging her pillow and enjoying the cool air from the conditioner. Suddenly the door burst open. "Sophia!" her mother shouted. Sophia groaned and pulled the blanket over her face. "Mummy, what is it?" "Look at the time," her mother snapped. Sophia lazily opened one eye and glanced at the clock. It was 10:07 a.m. "So," she said. Her mother could hardly believe it. "So, your mates have been at work since morning. Some are in offices, some are running businesses, some are doing something with their lives, and you are here sleeping like someone who has no future." Sophia slowly sat up, clearly irritated. "Mummy, why are you shouting this early in the morning?" "Early?" her mother exclaimed. 10 o'clock is early. What exactly is wrong with you?" Sophia yawned and shrugged. "Nothing is wrong with me. I just don't want to start suffering in the name of work." Her mother stared at her in shock. "Suffering? So building a life for yourself is now suffering?" "Yes," Sophia replied calmly. "Running up and down for small salary and answering 'yes sir, yes ma'am' all day is not the life I want." "What life do you want then?" her mother asked. Sophia smiled confidently. "Soft life. I'll marry a rich man who will take care of everything." Her mother warned her that life was not guaranteed and that women should have something of their own. But Sophia brushed it off. "I just know I won't suffer," she said. Her mother, tired and disappointed, walked out angrily. Sophia only shook her head and muttered to herself, "They will see. I'm not the first woman to live soft life." Sophia was still lying on her bed later that afternoon, scrolling lazily through her phone when it suddenly rang. She glanced at the screen. Rita. A slow smile spread across her face as she answered. "Hey, babe." Rita's voice came through excited and breathless. "Sophia, where are you?" "At home, obviously. Where else?" Sophia replied, twirling a strand of her hair. "Get ready," Rita said quickly. "There's a big party tonight in Lekki." Sophia sat up slightly. "What kind of big?" "The kind where the parking lot is full of luxury cars," Rita said. Sophia's eyes sharpened immediately. "And guess what?" Rita continued. "A lot of big men will be there." Sophia swung her legs off the bed. "Are you serious?" she asked. "I'm very serious," Rita laughed. "My cousin invited me. It's a private thing. Classy crowd. I told him I was bringing my friend." Sophia didn't even pretend to hesitate. "What time are we going?" she asked quickly. Rita burst out laughing. "I knew you would say yes." "Please don't waste time," Sophia said, already standing in front of her mirror. "Send me the location." "Lekki Phase 1, Rita replied. "We'll meet there around 8. Sophia ended the call and looked at her reflection. A slow, excited smile crept across her face. "This is it," she murmured softly. Within minutes, she was already thinking about what to wear. If men with real money would be there, she intended to look unforgettable. Later that night, Sophia arrived at the venue. Music floated faintly through the warm night air. Rita was already waiting outside. "You look stunning," Rita said the moment she saw her. Sophia flipped her hair lightly. "Of course." They walked toward the entrance together. The moment they stepped inside, Sophia paused. The place was alive. Elegant lights hung from the ceiling, casting a golden glow across the room. Music groups of well-dressed men and women filled the space, laughing, talking, and clinking glasses. Sophia's eyes moved slowly across the room. The atmosphere buzzed with wealth and influence. For a moment, Sophia simply stood there, taking it all in. Her heart beat a little faster. This was exactly the kind of world she had imagined. She glanced around again, her eyes shining with excitement. Sophia felt a thrill run through her chest. Music filled the air as the party slowly settled into full life. Sophia and Rita had found a comfortable spot near the bar, watching the room like observers studying a moving stage. Sophia's eyes were constantly searching. Then she saw some group of men across the room who immediately stood out. All dressed in spotless white agbada, the fabric rich and flowing. On their heads were bright red caps that signaled tradition, authority, and power. They sat together at a large table, calm and confident, speaking in low voices while attendants moved around them. They didn't look like men who worried about money. They looked like men who controlled money. Sophia leaned closer to Rita. "Who are those men?" Rita followed her gaze and her eyes widened slightly. "Those ones," she whispered. "Those are top men." Sophia's heart gave a small, excited jump. Jackpot! She adjusted her posture slightly, her confidence settling around her like perfume. She knew how to move in rooms like this. Not too eager, not too quiet, just visible enough. After a few minutes, she whispered to Rita. "I'm going to the restroom," she said casually. Rita watched her go with a knowing smile. Sophia walked gracefully through the crowd, aware of the eyes that briefly followed her. The restroom was down a quiet hallway away from the main hall. After fixing her hair and touching up her lip gloss, she stepped back out. And that was when it happened. She walked straight into someone. "Oh!" She stopped. Standing in front of her was one of the men from the table, tall, broad shoulders. The white agbada rested heavily on his frame, and the red cap sat firmly on his head. His presence carried the quiet weight of someone used to being respected. "I'm sorry," Sophia said quickly, her voice soft but composed. The man studied her for a moment, then smiled. No harm done. His voice was deep and calm. For a brief second, they simply looked at each other. Then he extended his hand. "I'm Senator Obina Okafor." Sophia's heart skipped, but her face remained calm. "Sophia," she replied, shaking his hand gently. They stood there for a moment longer, the hallway suddenly feeling smaller. "You're here alone?" he asked. "I came with a friend." "And are you enjoying the party?" Sophia tilted her head slightly. "I just arrived." The senator studied her again, clearly intrigued. She kept her expression controlled, though her heart was racing. "You look very beautiful tonight," he said plainly. "Very stunning." Sophia smiled politely, maintaining her composure. "Thank you." He glanced toward the busy hall, then back at her. "It's quite noisy here. Would you mind if we sat somewhere quieter to talk?" Sophia nodded slightly. They walked back into the hall and settled at another table tucked away from the main crowd. The music was softer there. Senator Obina Okafor leaned forward slightly. "I'll be honest with you," he said. "From the moment I saw you, I liked you." Sophia raised her brow slightly but said nothing. "You carry yourself well," he continued. "You are beautiful, calm, and confident. I like that." He paused briefly before adding, "I would like us to see each other again," he continued. "Not just casually, I mean something serious." Sophia blinked slowly, playing the part of the composed woman. Sophia looked down briefly, then back at him. Inside her chest, excitement exploded like fireworks. A senator, a real senator, a big fish. The party ended late. By the time Sophia and Rita stepped outside, the night air in Lekki was cool and quiet. The bright lights of the venue still glowed behind them, while luxury cars pulled in and out of the parking lot. Sophia adjusted her purse on her shoulder when a familiar voice called out, "Sophia." She turned. Senator Obina Okafor was walking toward them. "Are you ladies heading home?" he asked. Rita answered quickly. Yes, sir, we were just about to order a ride. The senator shook his head lightly. No need for that. I'll drop you both. Sophia exchanged a quick glance with Rita. Neither of them refused. The ride home was peaceful and calm. Even though Senator Obina was much older than her, she didn't mind. Not at all. In fact, she liked it. Older meant established, powerful, secure. Exactly the kind of man she had always imagined. When the car finally stopped in front of Sophia's house, the senator turned slightly. Get home safe, he said warmly. Sophia smiled. Thank you for the ride. I'll see you soon, he replied, before the car slowly drove away into the night. Inside the house, Rita kicked off her heels and collapsed on the couch. I can't go home this late, she groaned. I'll just sleep here. Sophia laughed lightly. Of course. My room is big enough. They both changed into comfortable clothes and settled on the bed. For a few minutes, neither of them spoke. Then Rita turned slowly toward Sophia. Sophia. What? Sophia replied casually. You know that man you met tonight? Sophia smiled immediately. Senator Obina. Rita nodded slowly. Yes, him. What about him? Sophia asked. Rita hesitated before speaking again. I've heard things about him. Sophia frowned slightly. What kind of things? Rita sat up now, her expression more serious. Rumors, she said quietly. People talk about him. Sophia raised an eyebrow. People talk about everybody. Rita took a breath. They say he has been married before. Sophia shrugged. That's normal. Not just once, Rita continued. 3 times. Sophia blinked once. And? She asked. Rita's voice dropped. They say each wife died a few months after marrying him. The room suddenly felt quiet. Sophia stared at her for a moment, then let out a small scoff. People like to gossip, she said dismissively. Rita looked unconvinced. I'm serious. Sophia lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Even if it's true, she said calmly, that has nothing to do with me. Rita studied her face carefully. You're not even worried. Sophia turned and smiled. Rita, she said softly, do you know how many women would pray to meet a man like that? Rita didn't answer. Weeks passed and Sophia's life began to change in ways she had always imagined. At first, it started with small things. One morning she woke up and saw a bank alert on her phone, 5 million naira. She stared at the screen in shock. A message followed almost immediately. For your breakfast, Obina. Sophia laughed out loud. Breakfast, she murmured, shaking her head. But that was only the beginning. Within weeks, the gifts kept coming. Designer handbags, shoes, perfumes, jewelry. Sometimes money arrived even when she had not asked for it. Sometimes when she already had more than enough. Another alert. 3 million. Another one. 2 million. If she casually mentioned liking something, it appeared at her doorstep the next day. Sophia was living the life she had always dreamed about. When she visited Senator Obina's mansion for the first time, she almost forgot to breathe. The house was enormous, the compound wide, the furniture shining with quiet luxury. Sophia smiled to herself. Soft life has finally located me. It did not take long before the senator spoke about marriage. And Sophia did not hesitate. She said yes. Then when she told her parents, her father sat quietly in the living room while she explained everything. Her mother stood beside the window, arms folded. Senator Obina, her mother repeated slowly. Yes, Sophia replied confidently. Her father sighed heavily and leaned forward. Sophia, he said calmly, do you know this man's history? Sophia shrugged. I know enough. Her father shook his head. You don't. The first wife he married died within a few months. The second wife also died not long after their wedding. The third wife? The same thing happened. The room went silent. Her mother stepped closer. My daughter, people talk about these things everywhere. We cannot just ignore it. Sophia rolled her eyes slightly. People die every day, she said. That doesn't mean he killed them. Her father's voice became firmer. We are not saying he did, but something is not really clear. We need to take our time before you rush into this marriage. Her mother nodded quickly. Yes. Let us pray about it first. Ask God if this is really His will for your life. Sophia burst into laughter. Pray, she said jokingly. Mummy, please, if I marry a rich man and enjoy wealth for even a few months before I die, it's still better than marrying a poor man and suffering for 50 years. Her mother gasped. Sophia. Her father stared at her in disbelief. But Sophia simply smiled, completely relaxed. To her, this was the opportunity she had been waiting for. Her parents exchanged worried glances. They could see it clearly. Sophia had already made up her mind. No warning would change it. After a long silence, her father sighed deeply. If this is the path you have chosen, he said slowly, then we cannot stop you. Her mother wiped her eyes quietly, and not long after, Sophia married Senator Obina Okafor. The wedding was the talk of the town. The wedding was the talk of the town. Money was everywhere. Music filled the air. Sophia looked like a queen. That night, when the celebrations finally ended and the guests left, Sophia entered her new bedroom inside the senator's massive mansion. The room was beautiful, soft golden lights, thick curtains, and a bed large enough to swallow the entire room. Her heart beat fast. She had imagined this night many times, but something unexpected happened. Senator Obina simply removed his cap, loosened his clothes, and sat quietly. Sophia, he said calmly, I'm very tired tonight. She blinked. Tired? She asked softly. Yes, the day has been long. Let us rest. And that was it. He lay down on the bed and soon fell asleep. Sophia lay beside him, confused. Maybe tomorrow, she thought. But tomorrow came, and nothing happened. Days passed, weeks passed. Still, nothing. Sophia began to wonder if something was wrong. One evening, she finally asked him. Did I do something wrong? She said carefully. The senator looked up from his phone. Wrong? What do you mean? Sophia hesitated. You've not come close to me. He sighed slightly. Sophia, are you lacking anything? No, she admitted. Is there money in your account? Sophia nodded slowly. There is. He leaned back in his chair. Then relax, he said calmly. When the time is right, everything will happen. But, Sophia, he interrupted gently, be patient. And just like that, the conversation ended. Yet the gifts never stopped. Money alerts continued arriving in her account. Jewelry, clothes, expensive perfumes, designer bags, every day. Weeks turned into months. Then one night, far away from the mansion, in a quiet hidden place deep within the city, Senator Obina stood in the middle of a dimly lit room. Around him were men dressed in long robes. At the front of the room stood their Grand Master. The air felt heavy. The Grand Master's voice echoed slowly. Senator Obina Okafor. The senator bowed his head slightly. Yes, Grand Master. The time is approaching again, the old man said. You remember the covenant. Obina remained silent. The Grand Master continued. Every 2 years the sacrifice must be made. It is the price for the wealth. The price for the protection, the price for the life you enjoy. This will be the fourth, the Grand Master added. The senator lifted his head slowly. I know. Good, the Grand Master replied. And remember the rule. You must not lie with her. If you do, the sacrifice will not work. I understand. The Grand Master studied him carefully. Prepare her. The time is near. The room fell silent. In the weeks leading up to the strange date the senator had quietly marked in his mind, Sophia lived in comfort like never before. Her phone never stopped buzzing. Another alert, 3 million. Another alert, 2 million. Designer packages arrived almost daily. Jewelry, clothes, perfumes, even a new car parked in the compound with a ribbon on top. Sophia laughed each time. Baby, this is too much, she would say. But Senator Obina only smiled calmly. You deserve it, he replied. He made sure she lacked nothing. Fine dinners, shopping trips, spa treatments. He watched her happiness carefully, like a man completing an assignment. And whenever Sophia tried to bring up the issue that had been bothering her, he always had the same answer. One evening she asked again, gently, Baby, is everything okay with us? He looked at her softly. Sophia, I told you already, my mind is not settled. She studied his face. But you still love me. He smiled faintly. Of course I do. Those words were enough to calm her. She believed him. Then the night finally came. Far away from the mansion, in that same hidden chamber, the Brotherhood had gathered again. The air felt colder this time. Candles flickered along the walls as the men formed a circle. In the middle of the room stood Senator Obina Okafor. The Grand Master stepped forward slowly. The time has come, he announced. The room fell silent. A long knife was brought forward and placed in the senator's hands. Its blade glowed under the dim candlelight. Strike the mirror, the Grand Master commanded. In front of Obina stood a tall, ancient mirror, its surface dark and mysterious. The senator held the knife firmly. His face showed no fear, no hesitation, only silence. Then, without shaking, he lifted the knife high and struck it hard into the mirror. The glass cracked violently. At that exact moment, miles away in the senator's mansion, Sophia suddenly woke up. She gasped sharply, clutching her chest. Her breath became heavy. Something was wrong, very wrong. She tried to sit up, but her body refused to move. Her heart pounded wildly. Then suddenly, silence. Her body went still, just like that. Life quietly slipped away from her. Back in the chamber, the mirror shattered completely. The men in robes bowed their heads as the Grand Master spoke again. The sacrifice has been accepted. Days later, the news spread like wildfire. Sophia was dead. No sickness, no warning. Just gone. When the news reached her parents, the house was filled with sorrow. Her mother cried bitterly, holding Sophia's photographs to her chest. My daughter, my beautiful daughter, she wept. Her father sat quietly in a corner. Tears rolled slowly down his face, but he said very little. The pain in his eyes was deeper than words. After a long silence, he finally spoke softly. We warned her. His voice trembled. We begged her to calm down, to pray, to think carefully. He closed his eyes, but she chose what she wanted. The room fell silent again. Outside, life continued as usual. Cars passed, people laughed, the world moved on. But inside that house a heavy lesson remained, and somewhere in the city another young woman was already being prepared to become Senator Obina's fifth wife. Not every glittering life leads to peace, and sometimes the price of a soft life can be far greater than anyone imagines. Moral of the story: not everything that shines is safe. Sometimes the life that looks soft and beautiful on the outside hides dangers that cannot be seen. Sophia wanted comfort, luxury, and an easy life. She ignored warnings, pushed aside wise counsel, and chased wealth without asking deeper questions. By the time the truth revealed itself, it was already too late. Real security does not come from money alone. True safety comes from wisdom, patience, and the courage to listen when people who love you raise concerns. Sometimes the fastest road to luxury can lead straight into danger. So the real question is, if something looks too good to be true, will you pause and investigate? Or will you rush in because of the glitter?
Now, besties, tell me in the comments, was Sophia simply unlucky, or did she ignore the warning signs that could have saved her lives? Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share so it can get to more people. Thank you.